Get your action figures at Big Bad Toy Store at the link in the description.
Dragon Ball, horror, kaiju, and more. Steven's Toy Reviews.
Hello there, collectors. Steven here, and welcome to a review of a repaint of a classic figure in the Dragon Ball lineup. It is going to be a renewal of the Super Saiyan Vegeta, where today we have a repaint. SH Figuarts Super Saiyan Vegeta Awakening Super Saiyan Blood. This is going to be a repaint of the Super Saiyan Vegeta from 2016, and this is going to be a more so budget release that Bandai Tamashii Nations have been doing as of recent. We have the full power Super Saiyan Goku, raised on Earth Goku. We have the Dragon Ball Super Figuarts that have been general retail releases. You get the point that I'm trying to make. This is going to be a more so metallic hair paint repaint with just one fewer accessory than the original release, which was like 55 bucks. Anyway, so he comes alongside a renewal, a 2.0 if you will, of Trunks, that boy from the future, and folks are going to want to know if this is going to be worth picking up, especially with the hair paint that doesn't really match the other Saiyans in the lineup. I get that it's meant to be, you know, a repaint for those who missed out and it's meant to differentiate from the original, but nevertheless, let's take a look to see whether or not this is going to be worth adding into your collection. So there are a lot of folks who think that this is going to be like a renewal of some sort, but this is actually going to be a same sculpt repaint as the original. The only thing that's going to be different is going to be for like the decals and the paint applications, and that is actually going to be very apparent when we get closer to the end of the review where we do that side-by-side comparison. And actually, just from memory, I didn't think there was going to be that big of a difference from the face from the original 2.0 of Vegeta release, but actually there's quite a big difference. But focusing in on this release, I actually quite like this one. I do like the paint overall for the Saiyan armor, the Vegeta armor, I guess at this point for Vegeta, and the metallic hair I think is actually really good, and I think this is a solid representation of Super Saiyan. However, I do think that it doesn't quite necessarily match the anime for the more so white-ish blonde hair that they have. But that being said, this is meant to be a repaint to differentiate from the original release, which didn't quite have that to begin with. But nevertheless, I think in its own right for what they were going for, it is a solid execution. When we get to the face plate, that is by default, there's just minor quality control issues, which you're really only going to notice when you are under macro photography like I have here. But nevertheless, in hand, just kind of looking at it from a short distance away, that's only when you're able to maybe think that there's going to be an issue. Otherwise, Vegeta looks fine. The only gripe is that similar to Super Saiyan Warrior Awakening Goku, which that is the moment where he becomes Super Saiyan for the first time, this is meant to be that time where Vegeta first reveals his Super Saiyan form and he begins to fight Android 19, where he has the white boot tips. He has the general Android Cell Saga sculpted sort of orange-brown boot tips. So, boo-boo for that? Yeah, but nevertheless, I think it's fine for a general representation of this saga for Vegeta. Given that this is going to be a repaint of the original renewal Super Saiyan Vegeta, the articulation is going to be the same, and there's not really going to be any change, which is good. Some folks were upset with that, but realistically speaking, we knew what this was going to be when we got into it, and this is meant to be a budget figure. So what do we have? Well, first and foremost, we can go ahead and just simply pop the head off, no issues, and we can look at what the articulation is. So the head plugs in on a ball joint, and then that is going to be on a hinge, so we can move the head forward and back at the neck, and then it does swivel a bit where the head plugs into the body. So let's go ahead and pop the head back on. For head swapping purposes, skin tone, just keep that in mind. We can go through the gamut there. And Vegeta will look different depending on the suit that he's wearing. So, with that being said, the neck actually does plug into the body on a ball joint as well, so we can get just a little bit more micro adjustments. So Vegeta can look up about that far, and he can look down that far just with the neck joints. You can also obviously spin all the way around, but just be careful at that point if you adjusted any of those joints. For the shoulders, they do spin around on a ball joint where they plug into the body. Joints may be a little bit tight. This one does feel tight. This one spins around just fine. If anything does feel tight, if anything does feel stuck, please make sure you are using proper joint care methods so you don't twist anything or shear plastic off. We do have butterfly hinges, so this way we can move Vegeta's arms forward just like that. And he does have hinges where the shoulders plug in as well, so this way he can T-pose on his enemies. We do have dedicated bicep swivels, and we do have double hinge elbows. For the wrists, they are going to be on the standard swivel hinge combos where they plug into his forearms. So this way we can, let me find that, there we go. hinge that direction, and we can swivel to readjust the hinge. Where the hands actually plug in, they are going to be on ball joints, so that is something to keep in mind as well, and we can get just a little bit more movement that way. So we have nice movement. Let's plug that back on. There we go. So for the ab crunch, can we just pop that out? Yes, we can. Just get a little bit of a pop out there, which is good, and we get twisting and turning from side to side. So good movement there, and with that, Vegeta can pop back that far, which I'm sure some people won't like the gap that is created from that, but nevertheless. And he can move that far forward, which not much of a gap there, but c'est la vie. All right, we do have a ball joint at the waist, which can't really pop out, but nevertheless, he can twist and turn and spin. Good movement there. For the hips, we can kick out about that far forward and that far back, which is good, and we can kick out about that far to the side. If we just do a minor rotation with the dedicated thigh swivel, we can get just a little bit more movement. But yes, that thigh swivel will enable a full rotation of the thigh, just like so. We do have double hinge knees, which is good. Ankle rockers are actually going to be on a double axis ball joint, as you can clearly see the ball joint there. That plugs into the lower portion of the leg and on the foot and toe hinge. There we go. So the articulation, I know some folks were really hoping for a full-on renewal of a renewal, which would be a 3.0, but that's not really what this is going to be. This is just meant to be a budget repaint figure to get on the market, so this way folks would be able to hop on board with a Super Saiyan Vegeta as they go into more of the Android saga and some Cell stuff, so folks would be able to have, the Vegeta in their collection. Yeah. That's about it. So the articulation is still solid after all these years. I think he works just fine. A renewal to the renewal? Yeah, I'm down for it. I'd go ahead and pick that one up for a full price, whatever that may be. Now, for the accessories, basically Vegeta is going to come with everything that the original release did, asterisk, not really, but effectively. So Vegeta is going to come with some alternate faceplates, 2 of them to be specific, and he is going to come with 3 sets of alternate hands, and a thumbs up part as well as a crossed arm part. So here are going to be the alternate faceplates. One of them is going to be him screaming, which of course that is typical of Vegeta, and the other one is him going to be smirking, looking off to the side, and this is him using the Big Bang. So hands, this is going to be important. So Vegeta is in fact going to come with obviously default fists. He is going to come with sort of not really Kamehameha hands, sort of gripping hands. He's going to come with some karate hands, which is neat. Fully splayed out hands like he's sort of charging up the final flash. And then obviously the thumbs up. Now, from the original release of the Super Saiyan Vegeta, same hands, which is cool. Crossed arm part, honestly, I really don't use these ever. This is going to be the only time that I use them. You just pop off the bicep and then you angle closely to use the crossed arm part. And there you go. That is about all for Vegeta here. So yeah, pretty straightforward and simple. Now for this release of Vegeta, we are missing an extra angry faceplate. So the original release of Vegeta had Vegeta looking off to his left and screaming. This Vegeta will technically have another faceplate where he is looking down and yelling, and that is going to come with the release of Android 19, which is a premium Bandai release, and orders have closed. So if you were hoping to get that, hope you got your order in. If not, I'm sure there are some that are going to be available on the aftermarket and you may be able to pick one up, or someone may be selling theirs with Android 19. Also of note, for the original Vegeta, the smirking face, he was looking straight ahead. And I will note that for this release, we do have that little dimple on Vegeta's left side of his face, which is mostly colored in well enough. I will say it is better than the renewal Scouter Vegeta. Now, if you are looking for extra accessories or support stands, you know I have videos to help you out, though I will say I am not really a fan of the one faceplate where it is looking off to one direction, but there is not an equivalent looking straight ahead. I do think that this is pretty smirky and cocky. And to kind of sort of wrap up the review, here's going to be a size comparison with not only the recent Vegeta repaint, but also the Trunks renewal. So this way you get a good idea of how they're going to look with some other figures on your shelf, along with some other Dragon Ball Figuarts. Are they in proper scale? Are they not? I'll leave that for you to decide, since different people source different things from the source material. This is just going to be a reference point for how big they are. And of course, here's going to be a side-by-side comparison with the original release of the SH Figuarts Super Saiyan Vegeta Renewal, just in case you're debating whether or not you should get that one or you should get this one. Quite frankly, I think you can't go wrong with either. I like the bodysuit of this one, but I like the hair of the original. Just my 2 cents. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. I think this is just fine, and quite frankly, it is a great repaint to get folks to pick up a Vegeta that is going to look great on their shelf with their Android display, especially for those who have the original release who just need another Vegeta that is going to be a complement to their Android figures. However, don't know why they went with the sort of striped boot tips instead of the white ones, which they easily could have done due to having other figures that were available, especially because they made it very clear by promotional pictures that this is meant to go with Android 19, where that was true. But nevertheless, this is a good catch-all Super Saiyan Vegeta for any display. Now, with that being said, let's take a trip down memory lane. When they did the Premium Color Edition for the very first release of Super Saiyan Vegeta, they shortly thereafter did the renewal for Super Saiyan Vegeta, the 2.0. Makes you think, done it. Especially given that this is $35, which, considering there's only one accessory less, how did they do this for $35 and the original for $55 to $60? Nevertheless, it's a good buy. If you missed out on the original, this is obviously going to be worth it. Hey collectors, that's going to wrap up the video today, and as always, thanks for watching, commenting, sharing, subbing, it all helps. I always enjoy responding to comments, so be sure to drop one down below and I will respond if I can. I do have supporters on Patreon as well, and each review gets an end card to show who is supporting each month, so here are the end cards. Camera batteries, SD cards, even hard drives. It's not possible without that support, so thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Here's the final end card, so this way you can click subscribe, check out another video, or even check out the social media outlets. You know you want to. Before we end today, as in the description, there may be paid ad space, affiliate links, or product samples that were sent out in this video, so please check out the STR ad disclosure. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.